Up next on Quarren TV, we have the very funny Gretchio.
Hey guys. How are you? I've been dealing with a little bit of seasonal depression. Real quick, is it still seasonal if it happens every season? Yeah. I've been, there's a couple things that contribute to that, like aging. I recently turned 31, which was actually a lot of fun. I got really lit. I fucked a 21-year-old. It was great. And if that doesn't say 31st birthday, I don't know what does. Well, other than bankruptcy. But anyway. You know, I don't normally go for younger guys, but this was fun. He taught me the trends. I taught him the classics. He did this like really rewarding like jolt thing every time he came. It was great. Really, the only issue was our living situation, right? So like he was home for the holidays, so he was like home. And I was living with my aunt and uncle because, well, I'm a comedian. And so we had to get really creative with where we were hooking up, right? So we were hooking up in cars and in gardens and like other people's bathrooms, which at first was very exciting. But then I started to think to myself, am I having homeless sex? And then I started to pay attention a little bit more to things he would say, and he just made me feel old. Like this one time he was like, "Oh, remember Ice-T from Law and Order?" Luckily, I didn't have to deal with that for too much longer. He went back to college, though I do still keep a few board games around just in case I want to fuck a 20-year-old. You know, cater to all my audiences. But yeah, you know, getting older isn't all fun and fucking 21-year-olds, right? Like, aging is bullshit. Like, one day, I'm not feeling any of the repercussions of my actions, and then the next, I've got hail damage on my ass. I don't know when that happened. I'm getting in trouble for using the FedEx scale at work, and it's like, I know it can't hold anything over 90 pounds, but don't I look like I'm 90 pounds? I can't hang anymore. Like, I know that if I'm going to have 3 blood and honeys, that I'm spending the night on the bathroom floor with the lights on. I've turned into the person who's more likely to order a pizza at 3 a.m. than cocaine. And I feel way worse about the pizza. And then I get constipated because of the cheese on the pizza, and the only thing that fixes that is cocaine. You see this cycle that I'm on, which really isn't that bad. I do really well on coke. Seriously. Keeps me alert, keeps me shitting, keeps me skinny. And, you know, I'm not addicted to it. I just really like the way it smells. And, you know, I'm actually very clean about it. Like, I see a lot of people, they do coke with money, and I think that is disgusting, right? Like, you'd never walk into a strip club and be like, I'm going to do something off the floor of this place. Pro tip, I use a tampon applicator. And, like, some people are weird about it, but it's like, whatever, I only used it once. But yeah, I've been trying to deal with my depression as, like, healthy as I know how to. Mostly by putting other people down. Only with the truth, though, so it's healthy. Like, I told my friend, you really do look fat in that shirt. And I felt like I did my good deed for the day. I also think it's really important to, like, understand where the depression stems from. Like, for me, I have certain personality traits that I just hate about myself. Like, I'm turning into this crazy cat lady. Like, I've got a bunch of dead cats around my apartment. Apparently, I hate cats. I've got this real inability to make decisions. Or do I have an inability to make decisions? Anyway, I'm trying to work on that too. I actually bought these tarot cards, and I have been basing all of my life's decisions off these readings, and it's actually going pretty well. I'll give you an example. Like, I asked the cards, what do I need to know about my bitch coworker for my highest good? And the cards told me that I needed to know and understand competition at its highest level. So I let the air out of her tires. I think that was the better choice. Dating depresses me. I have a goal this year. This year, I'm going to make someone fall in love with me. Mostly because there's just something about walking away. But also because I'm ready. right? I got out of a bad relationship a couple years ago, which I'm much better out of. I mean, fundamentally, we were just off, right? Like, I didn't like kissing him. He kind of had this, like, stabby tongue kiss that was just kind of like, I found out late in the game that he wears girls' deodorant, which, I mean, like, I don't know, like, are you gay? Are you weak? Are you cheating on me? Like, what is it? He'd say things like funner all the time. I don't know. He was all the way around annoying. Like the night that we broke up, he was banging on my door all night until I let him out. But yeah, I got over it. I had my hoe phase. I'm back on that dating horse. I'm like kind of like this modern day Cinderella, but instead of trying on shoes, I'm trying on dicks, you know? And so some are too big and some are too small and some are kind of weird. But you know, I have faith that my glass stick is out there. I really do. And when I meet him, it'll be great. People will be like, how'd you know? And I'll be like, he slipped right in. But until then, I'm just dating, which has been very interesting. I got asked out by this guy who's super hot. I was really excited. But, you know, before first dates, I usually do a little bit of research. And unfortunately, I found out that he was a pedophile. Which, I mean, talk about a compliment, right? I mean, it's not like I condone what he does, but it's nice when someone appreciates you. I've learned a lot through dating. Like, little things like men are like linoleum. If you lay them right the first time, you can walk on them forever. I also have a lot of friends that are in like very healthy relationships, so that's helpful. I get a lot of good advice from them. One of the best pieces of advice I've gotten is that I should just do things that I like to do, and eventually I'll meet someone that likes to do those things as well. So this past year, I joined a random fantasy football league, mostly in hopes of meeting a winner. I ended up winning that league, but it wasn't a total wash. I mean, there's still the whole fantasy aspect. I mean, who doesn't want to think about a 6'4" black guy who can cover a tight end, am I right? But yeah, dating, I say it's been adventurous. I actually got chlamydia for the second time. Talk about a clapback. And it was like this really anxiety-filled experience for me at first because I had to tell like 5 different guys that I may have infected them. But it ended up being a really empowering experience because all 5 guys still want to fuck me. Men are dogs, but I love a rescue, so it works out. But yeah, any online daters? I definitely do the online dating. I do it all, like Hinge, Bumble, ESPN, everything. And I've got like a real love-hate relationship with it, right? Like on the one hand, I love the swiping. Like this thumb has swiped miles. Like it's the ultimate way to feed your narcissism. But I'm not quite sure that that doesn't like outweigh the cons. Like for one, no one looks like their picture. You know, I went out with this guy. He was super hot in his pictures and he was attractive in person. It's just that his eyes were just like a little too close together, which is fine. It's just that every time he thought about something, instead of being like, he'd be like, And I felt like if that ever happened during sex, it would fuck me up. So I also feel like guys lie about their height a lot. Like, I'm not going to find out you're 5'7". And it's not that I have anything against dating someone that's like shorter than me. I've definitely tried. I gave that a really good go. But for me, when I hook up with someone who's shorter than me, our legs do this thing that's like his foot's on my shin. I don't know. It feels like a kid's trying to climb me and fuck me, and I can't get into it, so. But really, the biggest issue is I feel like really disposable on these apps. Like, another option is just to swipe away, and I know that that's the name of this online dating game. Like, that's obviously what's going on. But it pisses me off when someone doesn't bring their A game to a first date, right? Like, I had this guy be like, oh, where do you want to go out to eat? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Let's go someplace where they make the food in front of me. And then he took me to Subway. And then later that night, when I actually wanted a foot long, he couldn't give me 6 inches, so. And I get it. sex isn't everything. I have accepted that no one's going to get me off like my Clarisonic brush. But it would be it would be convenient if I could just meet Mr. Right. But until then, I'm just taking a ton of Plan B. Seriously. I'll stop by on my way to brunch, grab one of those, wash it down with mimosas and regret, like an adult. Has anyone here ever bought Plan B? All right, no gentlemen in here? All right. Well, just so you know, these things are very expensive. Like, to the point that I went to my pharmacist and I was like, yo, you got like a family pack? Or like an anti-family pack? And I couldn't believe it. This guy had the nerve to give me lip about it, telling me I can't take this shit 2 days in a row. It's like, first off, mind your own uterus. Second of all, is a different guy anyway. Anyway, long story short, he didn't have that family pack. He just handed me a bunch of old hangers. I'm Gretcho. That's my set.